So, Adam, that takes us to the offseason now here for Carolina, which means that the Heels, just like everybody else, has to absolutely hit the ground in a full sprint. Transfer portal opened on Monday. Well, let's start with the fact that Elliot Cadeau and Jalen Washington have both gone into the portal. Adam, I think these are different scenarios for Jalen Washington and Elliot Cadeau. Jalen Washington has been a part of the Tar Heels for 3 years. I think he had a lot of he's had a lot of opportunity, particularly this season. He started about half the games for the Tar Heels. And it just seemed as though perhaps he was not going to get the opportunity that he wanted moving forward. You and I both really like Jalen Washington a lot. He's been a great guest on the pod a couple times, as nice a person as you'll find. That Ole Miss game kind of summed up his career, though. It felt like he really struggled in the first half and was getting moved down low. And then his second half was equally as impressive. You saw some flashes there. He had one of the more aggressive plays he's ever had as a Carolina player, with a big dunk down the middle of the paint, blocked a shot or two, hit a jump shot or two. So you saw the potential, but you also saw the first half. And so I'm guessing, and I have not spoken to Jalen Washington, I'm guessing that he's looking for somewhere that his game could potentially fit better, and that he would have an opportunity to play more. Again, that is my opinion. Certainly, Elliot Cadeau has played a lot for Carolina. Essentially been a 2-year starter. Didn't start at the beginning of his freshman year, but eventually took over. The ceiling is very, very high with Elliot Cadeau, as we've seen. But the consistency has not been as high. Now he's only a sophomore, so maybe that consistency improves. But it seemed like this was a spot that it just maybe everybody needed a fresh start. And so that's what everybody's going to get.
The tricky thing about being 23 and 14 is that it's really hard to just bring all the same players back and think that that's an okay way to approach the next season. Like, you went 23 and 14 for a reason. And part of the year 2025 means that players are going to go out and players are going to come in. But we're at the out part.
And this is our PSA every year, that it's easy to freak out when everybody goes out. And I get it. Like, you look at the roster and the Tar Heels don't have a whole lot of players right now, or players that you know. And then there's some other guys that I think are still in limbo as far as what is going to happen. So it is, if the roster was set today, it would be concerning. But don't forget, the portal goes both ways, and certainly Carolina's working to add some guys as well.
If there are not additions, that would be a major surprise.
Right.
There will be additions. So I think everything you said about Jalen Washington is correct. Really like him personally. He had been here 3 years, and I think had an opportunity this year to take on a bigger role and be a little more productive and more consistent, and just wasn't quite able to do it. So it could be that somewhere else is a better fit. Elliot Cadeau, I think, has a lot of skills that make for a successful Carolina point guard, but ultimately did not have some skills that would have made him more successful. It would not shock me to see him go somewhere else and be very successful. He did lead the ACC in turnovers this year. He was third in the ACC in fouls. In some of the losses that we've talked about, he either was ineffective or was not able to be on the court due to those fouls. And that is an issue. I think that what we have seen in now 4 years of Hubert Davis Tar Heel teams, when they are at their best is when they have maturity, savvy, basketball IQ, and shot making. And I think you would hope to upgrade those categories in the personnel that you bring in, because I do think this team did not have a couple of those qualities. And that is why in the end they struggled. So you hope that when next year's roster is finalized, which let's be honest, could be like 4 or 5 months from now, they will have some of those qualities, because I do think that's when Hubert Davis teams have been at their most successful. Savvy to me would be something I would highly prize if I was in charge of looking in the portal.
Yeah, and we're not going to sit here and talk about who are the Tar Heels going after? Who are they talking to? There's other places you can find that information if you desire it, and it's kind of you're chasing your tail a little bit doing that right now. But obviously, as things move along, and Hubert Davis on Wednesday on the radio show said he had 2 Zoom meetings after the show was over with guys who are in the portal that he's going to talk to. I'm going to guess that everybody that the Tar Heels have on their radar, maybe those guys aren't even in the portal yet. That's very realistic. And so we've been through this before, and so it will be a fluid situation here for the next several weeks and possibly several months. And that's just how it is now.